Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita class. Today is Sunday, 21st February 2016. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patita Nama Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagar Grama Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we are in chapter 2. Today we are going to take text number 53. So chapter 2, Sloka number 53. We'll first chant the Sloka and then we'll drop it. Shruti vipratipannate yada sthāsyati nischala.
Pratipannate yadasthasya nischala.
Samadhava achala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi.
Samadhau achala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi.
Shruti vipratipannate yada sthāsyati nischala.
Shruti vipratipannate yadasthasya nischala.
Samadhava achala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi.
Samadhau achala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi. Tada or tada?
Tada. Yada and tada.
Tada.
Actually, the phonetic things are missing in this in English, so that's why you are finding it difficult.
Okay.
Okay, Kanaka Pradama Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shruti vipratipanna te यदा स्थास्यति निश्चला
Shruti
Shruti vipratipanna te yada
yada
sthāsyati niṣcala.
समाधौ अचल बुद्धिस् तदा योगम् अवाप्स्यसि
samadha
Madhava achala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi. Radhika Raman Prabhu.
Shruti viprita pannate yada sathasati nischala
Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthāsyati niṣcala.
samadhava achala buddhi sam tada yogama vavapasi.
Samadhava achala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi. Who else is there online? Sita Mataji.
Kaustubadas Prabhuji is there.
Kaustubh Das. Kaustubh Prabhu.
Shruti vipratipanate yada santi nishtala
Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthāsyati niṣcala.
madha vachala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi.
Samadhava achala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi. Who else is there?
Jaya Radhika Mat.
Jai Radhika Mataji. Please go ahead. Haribol, Jai Radhika Mataji. She is having audio problem. I don't know whether today it's there or not.
प्रेमावर्धिनी
हाँ माताजी बोलिए.
Okay.
श्रुति विप्रतिपन्ना ते यदा स्थायति निश्चला
श्रुति विप्रतिपन्ना ते यदा स्थास्यति निश्चला.
भाव अचला बुद्धिस् तदा योगम अवाप्स्यसि.
समाधाव अचला बुद्धिस् तदा योगम अवाप्स्यसि. Anybody else? Okay. Word by word meaning. Shruti
Shruti
of Vedic revelation.
Of Vedic
of Vedic revelation.
Vipratipanna,
Vipratipanna,
without being influenced by the fruitive results.
without being
without being influenced by the fruitive results.
They,
They,
your,
your,
yada,
yada,
when,
when,
sthāsyati,
sthāsyati,
remains,
remains,
niṣcala,
nishala,
unmoved,
unmoved,
samadhau,
samadhau,
in transcendental consciousness
in transcendental consciousness,
or Krishna consciousness.
or Krishna
or Krishna consciousness.
Achala,
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 unflinching,
unflinching,
buddhihi,
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 intelligence,
intelligence,
tada,
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 at that time,
and
at
then
that time,
yogam,
yoga,
yogam,
self-realization,
self-realization,
avapsyasi,
avapsyasi,
you will achieve.
you
you
will
will achieve.
Translation. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. When your mind is no longer disturbed
When your
The
mind
mind is no longer disturbed
by the flowery language of the Vedas,
by the
by
flower
the flowery language of the Vedas,
and when it remains fixed
and when
and
it
when it remains fixed
in the trance of self-realization,
in the trance of
in the trance of
self,
self-realization,
then you will have attained
then you will
then
have
we have attained
the divine consciousness.
the divine consciousness.
divine consciousness.
So here, Krishna is cautioning all those Vedantists and followers of Vedas blindly, like for them Vedas are like the supreme, even above Krishna. He is telling that there are good things in Vedas, and then there are some things which need not be followed. Especially when he's saying that, when it is Shruti, Shruti is all the Vedic literature. Meaning Vedas, Upanishads, Bhashya, Aranyaka, etc., etc. So they sometimes, like especially like let's say Atharva Veda, in that the Karma Kanda portion of the Atharva Veda, which talks about hell and heaven, Swarga, Narka, and how to get a good progeny, everything. That is mostly at the material level. That is to gain something material, and that is what Krishna is talking. He is not talking about Vedas per se, in the sense everything in Vedas you should forget. No, Vedas are meant for elevating us from a lower consciousness to a higher consciousness. And the highest consciousness is the Krishna consciousness. That's the purpose of Vedas. But sometimes we get caught in that, and then we try to follow that more than what we are supposed to follow. Meaning, for example, we are supposed to serve the Supreme Lord, right? As the servant of the Lord, that is our first duty. But then, if you go purely into Vedic thing and not consider Krishna in that, then you can be misled. And then you will enjoy the fruits of those activities, but you will not enjoy the highest bliss of serving Krishna. So let's see some, as usual, some wonderful commentaries by the Acharyas. We'll take turns. Remavardhini Mataji, please read.
क्या purport पढ़ क्या पढ़
What is there on the screen? Can you see the screen?
screen? Yes, at that time you will become detached from hearing about all sorts of material and Vedic subjects because of being adverse to the agitation created by these subjects, Nishchal, and your intelligence will be fixed in Samadhi, Samadha Achala. At that time, by achieving direct realization, you will achieve the status of Jivan Mukta, Yogam Avapsasi.
So when we get detached from hearing about all sorts of materialic and Vedic subjects, material and Vedic, there's a Vedic subjects are mostly spiritual, but if we, as I said, if you follow it without bringing Krishna into it, then it becomes dry. Sometimes it becomes dry speculation also. And then what happens is, then you get agitated. Because, for example, Veda, some Karma Kanda portion will say that you have this particular yagya to get something, like get a child, to get a good husband or a good wife, and then you do that because you are now, your mind is agitated. I have to do that, otherwise I will not get. What are you asking for? That is important. If you are doing a yagya to attain the service of Krishna, then that is bona fide. That doesn't come under, because that means now you are not following blindly the Vedic injunctions, the Vedic rituals. You are following it with buddhi. So, like Madhvacharya, Sripad Madhvacharya says, spiritual intelligence. When we are using spiritual intelligence, then it makes all the sense. Nischala. Nischala. We have to be always nischala, meaning not moved by all these flowery things. Flowery, why do you say flowery? Because The language of the Vedas are sometimes like that, very full of alankar, alankrit. And then you get swayed by that. So that should not happen. You should be fixed in samadhi of what? Your intelligence should be fixed in samadhi of Krishna consciousness. Samadhau achala. Then you can achieve the highest goal of, you can say goal of going back to Krishna, or you can say communion between our communion between us and the cosmic soul, that is Krishna again. Radhikaraman Prabhu.
To say that one is in samadhi is to say that one has fully realized Krishna consciousness. That is, one in full samadhi has realized Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan.
This is very, very important for a devotee to understand. We must be able to distinguish between Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. And that's why we have been told by our gurus, by our acharyas, by Krishna himself, that we should not get stuck at Brahman and Paramatma level. Brahman is the effulgence of Supreme Lord. Paramatma is his localized presence, has a 400 Narayana form, Paramatma. Or Kshirodakshay Vishnu enters into each body as Paramatma. And then Sri Krishna, Bhagavan, because we have to serve. We have to serve mentally, manually, spiritually, materially, in all ways. To serve something, we need somebody, right? We need some entity who is going to reciprocate. Krishna as Paramatma is only a witness. But Krishna as Bhagavan is a reciprocator. He accepts our offerings, gives us smile, instructs us from within, etc., and all that. Allows us to serve him, comes in an Archa Vigraha form. So many things. So, full samadhi is when we have realized all the three stages, not at one stage. So when people are in, for example, in meditation, they need not be in samadhi. They need not be, because again, meditation on what? If there is a proper meditation, then yes, samadhi is also there. But if you are just meditating on some light or some vacuum, then that is not called as samadhi as per Krishna's definition of samadhi. So this is very important. That's why I just chose that small little portion, just to impress upon us that unless we achieve all the three, see, that doesn't mean that when we say Bhagavan, we are going to reject Paramatma, we are going to reject Brahman. No. We understand their situation, their position. I gave you the example of a train. So Brahman is the train. From a distance, in the evening, you see only the light. So that is Brahman. And when you see the train with all engine and compartments and everything, that becomes Paramatma. And when you go into the train and have relationships with people inside, with the driver, with the, like relationship, at least you see them as a person, not that everybody has to go and talk to the driver. Because that's again, you have to be qualified to meet even the driver. When you enter the compartment of the driver, the engine thing, you need a pass or you need some identity, right? The same way, when you to meet the driver here, Krishna, then also we need some qualification. Although Krishna is so merciful that he will just grant you whatever you want. So this is very important. Kamalini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The highest perfection of self-realization is to understand that one is eternally the servitor of Krishna and that one's only business is to discharge one's duties in Krishna consciousness. A Krishna conscious person or unflinching devotee of the Lord should not be disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, nor be engaged in fruitive activities for promotion to the heavenly kingdom.
So this is a statement and there's an instruction here. Instruction is that our only business, only, underline, is to discharge one's duties in Krishna consciousness. So prescribed duties, this comes under prescribed duties, which are needed for achieving Krishna consciousness. So we should not be disturbed by, as I said, this havana or that puja or this one or that one, like there are 33 koti. Koti is again varieties. It's not crore. I was, very pleased when I saw that statement that 33 koti devatas means there are 33 koti means categories. There are 33 categories of devatas and devis, not crore. Not crore. Like in India we say crore, 10 million. Not like that. So anyway, whatever number is there. So we should not get stuck with worshipping them and then forgetting our main goals. The only bona fide worship of all these devatas is to ask them to bless you with the same devotion that they have for Krishna. That's the only bona fide worship we can do to any devata or devi. Jai Radhika Mataji, are you there? Hare Krishna. Anybody else is there?
You want me to read this one?
Yes, please. Kaustuv Prabhu. Sorry, you're there. Yes.
In Krishna consciousness, one comes directly into communion with Krishna, and thus all directions from Krishna may be understood in that transcendental state. One is sure to achieve results by such activities and attain conclusive knowledge. One has to carry out the orders of Krishna or his representative, the spiritual master.
So here the process is explained. How do we do that? So when you are in direct touch with Krishna, then Krishna will direct, like Arjuna was there and Krishna was directing him, right? Directly he told him in Bhagavad Gita. That's what we are reading now. What is to be done, etc. But we need not become desolate saying, oh, since I cannot meet Krishna, so there is no direct communication. So now I can do what I want to do. No, not like that. Krishna is sending his representative, spiritual master, or even spiritual master's representative. He is also, when he is coming in the parampara, he is also empowered. So it's not that as long as he is repeating the same words. That's why we have this Bhagavad Gita as it is. Very, very important point is that as it is, then there is no problem. Then you can just follow with full faith, right? But when somebody comes and interprets a different thing, there is no Arjuna, there is no Krishna, there are two minds of Arjuna, one mind is asking, other mind is answering, and so on and so forth. There are so many different aspects, different interpretations of Krishna, and different interpretations of Bhagavad Gita. So we need not go into that, Only for preaching purpose, you should read other commentaries so that when some question comes regarding that, so you should be ready. Like Prabhupada himself, he never recommended, but when he was present, he will ask one of his devotees to take a position of some other philosopher. He will ask, somebody will say sometime, Prabhupada, what about this? And then Prabhupada says, okay, you tell me what is. And Prabhupada was always interested in the philosophy. He was not interested in the person as such. He said, what is this philosophy? And then he will ask the devotee, disciple, okay, you become that. and then you talk in their language, and then I will answer you in our language. And then every time Prabhupada used to defeat, just defeat on the basis of same Bhagavad Gita as it is. Simply, don't have to speculate. Everything is there. Prema Vardhini Mataji.
Karma Yoga, which presupposes the knowledge of the real the self, obtained from the scriptures, leads to a firm devotion to knowledge, known as the state of firm wisdom, and the state to knowledge, and the state of firm wisdom, which is in the form of the devotion to knowledge, generates the vision of the self. This vision is here called yoga.
So even if you talk of karma yoga, is yoga linking with Krishna. So it's only a process, different process, but the goal has to be same, you know. So your wisdom should be firm that yes, I want to serve Krishna by my activities, you know. I'll just give an example, you know, how this can be understood. There was a devotee, young boy, who understood this a little. Just, you know, he attended few classes and he understood that he has to serve Krishna. Simple, you know, there's no, he's very, very young. It's not that he's got some big philosophy or something. He doesn't know anything much. But he got this firm conviction that yes, I must serve Krishna. And he, you know, he left college, education, and he joined the ashram. And then he went to the president and said, give me some service, I want to serve Krishna. So he says, what service you want? He said, I will do anything. Anything. All I want to do is satisfy Krishna, and you are superior to me. So please order me. Prabhu, don't ask me what this, that. You just tell me. So the president told him, okay, you know, in winter, it's very cold. Devotees have to get up at 3:30. And then the bathrooms are little away from the main building. So when you take a bath and then you walk, then, you know, you can feel some cold. And the water there, the water heating capacity, because it's very cold, you need a little, at least lukewarm water, you know, it's ice cold water sometimes. So he said, your duty is to serve hot water to all the devotees when they are taking bath. You know, there are about 30-40 of them. And this devotee understood this as a Krishna service. You know, that's all he understood. And he will carry big buckets of water and heat it in a big boiler and then carry that. And he was serving all the devotees for months and months, you know, like everybody was so assured that, okay, they will get hot water because this Prabhu is there. That's all, you know, he did not bother about his own condition, that he has to also go in and out and all that. So this is called as Nischala, firm conviction. So I would say that he was in Samadhi, you know, in a way, because he's totally dedicated to his service. And he understood that Krishna will be pleased by this service, because you are serving, Krishna says that if you serve my devotee, that is even better than serving him. So this is yoga. Yoga means this. This is the classic example of karma yoga. Radhikara Mantra.
The intellect that was confused by contradictory arguments in the Vedas becomes perfectly stabilized by the proper interpretation of the Vedas. Then equanimity of the mind becomes unshakable, like the resonance of a drum. Then with intense meditation on the bliss of the Supreme, one shall attain communion with the ultimate truth within and succeed in all one's efforts.
Beautiful commentary. See, our intellect is generally confused, isn't it? If Vedas are the supreme, then why should we not follow Vedas? What is this going on? Krishna says that you follow Vedas, and then he says don't follow Vedas. So we get confused. Because by following what happens, by not following what happens. So then we should be again focused on only one thing, should not get confused. And that's why it is said that get away from the flowery language of Vedas. Not that we are condemning Vedas, Krishna is condemning. He is himself spoken Vedas, so why will he condemn? Right? And there is an example given of a resonance of a drum. When you beat a drum and the resonance sound is exactly like that, right? It doesn't change. It doesn't change. The same way, we are like a drum. When somebody hits us, the same vibration should come out, the unshakable faith in Krishna. When Haridas Thakur was getting beaten in 22 marketplaces, he did not change his stance. He just kept his same humble nature, and he just kept on repeating only Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he said, Krishna is great, Sudama, not unshakable, totally unshakable. Whatever situation happened with him, he was not disturbed. So, if you want to achieve that, we have to have that Dhrada Nishchaya, determination, and of course other requirements like enthusiasm, etc., etc. Kamalini Mataji.
Thus, communion with Lord Krishna will be attained through liberation by equanimity of the mind, developed in wisdom by spiritual intelligence. Sruti Vipratipanna means not being influenced to act fruitively by the rewards given in the Vedic scriptures.
So here, the Shruti Vipratipanna, that is explained, that we have to develop our intelligence in that way, that yes, we have to take the best out of the Vedic literature which suits us, See, our formula is simple. Accept everything that will help us in progressing in Krishna consciousness and be firm in that, and reject everything that will hamper our progress and be firm in that. So this is that. So it's not, don't get influenced, People, just we were last week in a different place, and I was seeing people watching this Hastha channel and the Samskar channel, and somebody with a big gathering and he's speaking with a very flowery language, and he has a dress, like flowing hair and a rich dress, all this jari work and this and that, and there's a big orchestra sitting there, and then these people were by, and I asked them, have you chanted your rounds today? No, we'll do that after this. I said, this is not important. These people will come and go, they are not going to help you. By the end of the day, you'll get so confused that you'll not know whether to hold the mala in the right hand or the left hand. Because that's how people do, they try to influence you. And everybody says that what he's saying is the ultimate truth. And what is the basis? Because he is saying so. No other basis. Kostu Prabhu.
Lord Krishna states that when our minds caught between the dichotomy of dualities due to hearing throughout our lives conflicting conclusions and adhering to false conceptions with little or no knowledge of the ultimate truth and become steadfast, then unshakable and fixed in the flow of all mental aspirations, culminating in an unending focus of the soul, perceiving no other goal.
How true this is, like throughout our life, we hear this conflicting conclusion, right? You meet anybody, even in, let's say Christianity, even if anyone, Costa Prabhu will vouch for that. You go to 10 different churches and you will find 10 different conclusions. Some conclusions are totally opposite of the other one. Like here in our Sampradaya, Vaishnava Sampradayas, there are different branches, but the conclusion is same. Conclusion is that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Finish. Then there are minor differences here and there. That's okay. But if your conclusion itself is wrong, is not matching, somebody saying he's son of God, somebody saying he's not son of God, somebody says he's dead, somebody says no, he's not dead, and that recircated. So many variations. And same within, we have even more. In India, if you go, you'll find so many branches. Not necessarily branches. So many, self-manifested sampradayas. Started by somebody because he got a dream in the night that he has to start a sampradaya. So this is what is important, We have to be unshakable, steadfast, simple. Have complete faith. Before having a faith, you can ask questions. Even for faith, improving your faith, you can ask. Questions are always welcome. Not that no question should be asked. We are not asking anybody to blindly follow. But what we are saying is, get convinced. Once you are convinced, get committed. That's important. Okay. So, I hope you enjoyed all these wonderful commentaries, explanations. So, thank you very much. I'd like to stop here. Now, if you have any questions, comments, please come up with them. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'd just like to say I really enjoyed the part where you said the only thing we should be worrying about with the demigods, I think, or Devadas, that we should be asking them to serve the Lord as good as they do.
Yes, that's.
I don't know, that just
bless you because they can bless you because they are wonderful servants of the Lord.
Mhm.
And they have unflinching faith. So we should get those qualities.
It's just a lot of times you hear it like people like want the material, like Ganesh will, there's ones for money and like you said, good husbands and stuff.
Right.
And it was a good reminder that, yeah, they do all that, but they are also great devotees of the Lord too.
Yes. Absolutely. That Lord Ganesha has so many wonderful qualities.
Mm-hmm.
So many wonderful qualities. So we have to learn from those qualities. And we have to ask the right thing. Because everybody else is asking, when you're talking about Ganesha, he has various forms in India, there's a 5-headed Ganesha, there is so many different types of Ganeshas. And then people brand them, Like where I was living, there was one Vidya Ganapati. Vidya means he is giving you education. And the temple throughout the year will be empty. But just on the days of examination, one day before that you will find long lines, sometimes you have to wait for 1 hour to go in the temple because everybody is coming and asking that please pass me in the exam. So I used to always laugh as I look at these people. They never come. They should come every day because you need education every day. So they're not going for really getting educated. They're only going to get the exams passed, pass in the exam. So this is a nice example of how people misuse.
Yeah, Ganesh is pretty popular in America too. You see a lot of people that aren't technically the most spiritual people, but they like Ganesh because he gets rid of stuff for him. So.
Exactly. So they will say he removes obstacles. So he removes obstacles in our devotion. We also say he removes obstacles because he says, I get my empowerment of removing obstacles by putting my trunk at the lotus feet of Lord Narasimha. You know, Lord Ganesha says, I get my empowerment by bowing down to Lord Narasimha and putting my tusk at his, not tusk, the trunk at the lotus feet of Lord Narasimha. So that's why we say we worship Narasimha and we say that he removes all obstacles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but then people go and say, remove my obstacle, meaning my neighbor is troubling me. He has made a wall which is like an obstacle for me. So get that wall removed. So that I'm just telling in the light vein, but this is how people go. This is how people ask. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
All right, thank you.
So, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So, we are in Krishna consciousness. We are taught that we have to do everything as a sacrifice to Krishna, whatever we do. So that way our faith will be fortified.
Yes. But we should not do it as a sacrifice. Because when we do sacrifice, we feel bigger. We feel that we are somebody. I have this, but I am giving it up. So like, you become the owner of that. So sacrifice is not a good idea. As a service to Krishna, to please Krishna.
To please Krishna,
yeah.
For the pleasure of Krishna.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to clarify that sometimes sacrifice makes us even more proud, because we think that I had this, I was a business, and I gave it up to Krishna. So as if I gave it up, like that, you become try to become a little
ego. I did it.
Okay. So we have to be careful when we sacrifice.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice.
Thank you. Anybody else has to say anything? Okay, then we'll stop here. Hare Krishna.